Welcome to the PTA Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, John Calgary. I'm accompanied by my co-host, Nick Kelly. Nick, how you doing today?
Great, fantastic.
Welcome to the pod, my friend. So can you catch us up? How's life with you? How are you out there hooking and jabbing?
Yep. Tomorrow I'm meeting my clients back up on a house that we got signed up. They're moving in there to rent. They're renters. I found them in brand new construction house. It just got up. And the one that, next to it's for sale. They're thinking of buying it, but just couldn't pull the trigger on it. So they just wanted to rent. Meeting up there. They're going to hand off the cashier's check for the first month's rent and the security deposit tomorrow. And they should be moving in at the end of the month.
That's awesome. So, for the people out there who are looking for a home either to buy or rent, how can a realtor help them find the rental property or rental home, like a place to rent?
Yeah. So once you get that initial conversation with them, they know everything that you're kind of looking for. You'll sign some paperwork just saying, hey, if I'm going to dedicate my time to you, I want to make sure that you guys actually want to work with me. You sign an exclusive. And now with the new NAR lawsuit, before even entering into a house, you have to have that signed. So if they're pushing on that being signed, just know they can get in legal trouble if they don't have that signed. Once that's signed, they should send you a bunch of houses. You'll go through them. Well, really depending on where you're at or kind of what you're kind of looking for. It either can be 100 houses or there can be 3 houses. And then you guys talk about them. You guys pick them out. Find a time to go and look at them. You look at them, and then you're like, all right, I want this one, or I don't like any of them. Let's do next week. Keep looking. Okay. But once you find something that you like, say, hey, we want to put the application in. So the first thing you do is just an application. That depends on what the listing agent or the homeowner really wants to do. There's 2 ways. There's contracts that's propagated by your state. Texas is TREC, the real estate committee, and then which I have access to, and I fill out and send it over to my client to fill out, or it's through like a third party.
So, Nick, you just have a network of trying to find homes to rent. Like if someone's looking to find a home, you can contact a realtor to rent a home, correct?
Yeah.
This is just another eyes and ears instead of you just going on Zillow looking for places. Like I can attest to this. When I went to go visit Nick in Houston, Nick knows the city of Houston like the back of his hand, and that's a confusing city to go through. He's just he's like, this over here, that's over here. I was like, wow, Nick, you really know the city.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. So if you're looking for a place to rent, Nick is that guy. He knows exactly where everything's at.
Yeah. And the application process can be kind of confusing sometimes, but it's pretty straightforward. You just got to find out what everyone wants to do.
Yeah.
You send it in, and then this is where having a real estate agent really comes in handy, because what I just explained, sure, important to have, but really this is the important part, is the negotiations. Okay, did this guy just put this house up for $2,000 and this house is only worth $15,000 a month? Like, I don't know. Who do I ask? Your realtor that's been showing you the houses. All right, I will look at comps. I will run through everything. I will do my due diligence for you and make sure this house is at the market that you want to. And this house that they're renting at could be like I would have listed it at $2,200, and I probably would have gotten listed. I would probably got someone moved in that was paying $2,300 to $2,400 a month for this place. This is a nice place. I got them $200. It was $225 cheaper than what I thought market value was.
Yeah.
$200 plus dollars less per month. $225 times 12. How much money you're saving?
Yeah.
Yeah. So even renting a house you're going to be saving a lot of money if you're with a confident real estate agent. Anyone that we brought on this podcast, I feel like they've had good knowledge. If you're in Houston, hit me up. If you're renting an apartment, apartments are a little less. You can't really negotiate with them, but I'll be able to get you discounts for that first month, and then also just looking at the market too.
Yeah.
Because if you only go to 1 or 2, 3 apartments and you get their list, it's like, okay, is this even comparable? Or you'll go to me to look for an apartment, which I have the whole apartment database, compare prices, find the cheapest one for you.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And I think off that, like the cheapest one for you and using people's expertise, I think that's going to roll beautiful into our clip about the S&P 500.
Let me give you a figure that'll blow your mind, I think. I bought my first stock when I was 11 years old. It was the first quarter of 1942. I spent $114.75. Three shares, $114.75. If I put that 114 into the S&P 500 at that time and reinvested the dividends, think of a figure as to what it would be worth today. Oh man, $400,000 today, one person's lifetime. Now the market's gone down many times during that time. People have panicked during that time. Headlines have been terrible. But if you buy it for 10, 20, just keep buying the S&P 500 index and forget about all the other nonsense that's being sold to you.
And so that kind of breaks down S&P 500. For everyone who doesn't know what the S&P 500 is, it's a 500 of the top performing companies in the United States, and it rotates every quarter, I believe. So they're continuously updating the list. So it's not the same 500 companies that from 1985, 1995, 2005, and 2015. Out those 40 years, the 500 companies continuously rotate. And I do have to say, shout out to Warren Buffett. I did follow this advice, and kind of similar to him, I bought my first stock in the 7th grade. Shout out to Apple. I wanted to sell. My dad said, you don't sell stock, you reinvest the dividends and go. And through that, mine was $80. My first $80 ever made in 7th grade from caddying. I bought $80 worth of Apple stock. I was able to purchase at 22 years old. I was able to purchase a home and get a $45,000 semi truck due to appreciation and the market going up. Did I get lucky that when I bought my house and the truck, that rates were never been that low and money was as free could be? Yes, but they still gave me the merchandise for sure. So I think that's another power of a different type of investing other than just real estate, of just like, hey, you might not have a lot of money right now. Maybe you have $200 a month, but you still want to retire. Hey, if you put $200 a month in the S&P 500, the average rate of return is between 8 and 10%.
Yeah, S&P is solid, safe investment. Especially if you have a lot of money in dividend stocks that will give you dividends per quarter, monthly or annually. And getting a little bit of that cash flow. If you're even taking out your dividends or you're reinvesting it for retirement, that's a safe bet. I always say, hey, go real estate, but a lot of people like a combination. There's really 3 types. There's the all-in stocks, all-in S&P, all-in index funds, right? You got your hybrid real estate and stocks, and you got your all-in real estate.
Yeah. So what is your strategy? Because I think you have to go all in one thing and then diversify once you become successful. Like me and you are both all in real estate. The only money I put in the stock market currently is just my 401k because PNC matches. So it's like, if you're gonna give me 4%, I'm gonna put 6% in. So 10% of my income is invest into the stock market. That 6%, the only part of my income that goes in stock market is that 6% into my 401k. So I think me and you are on the same track of like, we're going all in on real estate. But like once you start like whatever the number is for the person, but once we start cash flowing on real estate, I'm going to take those profits and invest into the S&P 500 and then just show.
Yeah. Mine is kind of like that hybrid, but maybe not as much as some people would want to think that a hybrid is. So get a job if you get a job that will match what you put in
Yeah.
to some kind of index fund. My experience with this is a thrift saving plan for the military. I matched and put extra into that, and now I got $40,000 into that. At a young age, who knows how much that's going to be once I retire.
Yeah.
So that's a really solid investment that I made at a really young age. And if you have a job, if you're not self-employed, but you have a job that matches that, put that money in there, but then save up all the money that you do get from the job and invest that in real estate. Don't, you might be able to open up your Vanguard, maybe make some trades there and then, but your overall main goal, saving up for that 20-30% down payment on a house that you will want to put an investor and put a renter in and cash flow, because that's gonna set you up for retirement much more than putting all that money in the SMP. It's a much stronger investment, in my opinion.
I honestly, Nick, I disagree with that. I think if you're doing all or nothing is the exact same, because if you're doing all into real estate and just use a hypothetical situation. Let's just say you have your
Well, I
prime.
didn't say everything.
Say again?
I didn't say everything.
But no, but you said that real estate's a far better investment for retirement than doing the S&P 500 or the
Yes.
401. I'm just saying I disagree, because let's just say you have 5 properties, have your home that you live in. So just to say you retire at 65, your house is completely paid off, and you make, out of all your properties, you make 60 grand a year off cash flow from your properties. What happens? So say you're not working, you're 65, you're 72, and the roof goes out on 2 of your properties. That's $40,000 cash you have to do. The maintenance alone, it's not like, yes, people love saying, oh, real estate cash flow, but I am a proponent of, at a certain point, yes, it's more secure, but it's still, I look at real estate as a business. Like every single house you buy or whatever, you should look at it as a business of like, what are your customers, your renter, and then what are your expenses is the maintenance on that property. So that's what I'm saying of like, whatever, if you want to be a day trader, become the best day trader you can be, and then take those profits and then find someone like us who wants to get in the real estate and like kind of get and diversify that way. But I truly think if you're smart with your money and you do all stock or all real estate, it's the same level of risk, because on the flip side of that coin, if you go all stock and you retire at 65, guess what? You retired. Guess what? You were planning on, you turned 65 in 2009. You're not retiring at 65. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a consideration you have to make when you go all or nothing in real estate or stock.
And a lot of people outlive their retirement too. They live until 103 or 95 or whatever, and they don't have enough money to live until 86.
And also too, but with that stat too, people don't use people say, oh, is the 401k or the Roth IRA not worth it anymore? Oh, it's 100% worth it if you utilize it. Because a lot of people don't start saving until they're 40. A lot of people don't use their 401k, and so they start making like $80,000 to $100,000 a year. But I can test for myself. I've made $42,000 a year my first year at PNC Bank. I was living at home, and I maxed the crap out of my 401k just because that's just what you have to do. Like if you
save up young when you're poor, because when you're older and you're rich, that compiling money, I mean, it's not going to be worth as much.
Yeah. But I do agree. I think the 401k and the real estate is I would say is the same level of risk and reward if you're using it as a retirement strategy. If you're using real estate, like if you're using stocks as a great, like a savings account, like if you just shove money into the S&P 500, you're getting 8% historically. If you hold it for 40 years, you're gonna make 8% on your money. Like, because the one thing about real estate is that if you buy a lemon, you could be out 300,000. Like whatever you put in, like you could be out a lot of money.
Yeah, and we've talked about on this podcast, do your due diligence. And then with the whole roof thing, if you're a smart investor, okay, a roof, that's going to be once every 30 years. A roof cost, let's say, replace my whole roof, whatever damage, that caving in might do. Worst case scenario, 10,000. I'm putting away money each month for a new roof over those 30 years.
No, that's
I'm putting money away for emergency each month. So when something like that happens, I'm not sweating. I don't worry about it. I have that already put away for emergencies. I'm getting that fixed. I'm moving on. I don't remember this even happening 2 days from now because it wasn't even a big deal for me. Now, if I'm an uneducated investor, I'm spending money as fast as I'm making it. My roof caves in.
Yeah.
$8,000, $5,000. I'm thinking about this for years to come.
No, 100%.
That's why it's important to get in contact with someone that knows what they're doing, because that should never happen to you. That and a big emergency like that happens, and you have insurance. Get good insurance. The cheapest option isn't always the cheapest option.
It's often the cheapest option is often the worst option.
The worst option, yes.
The only time the cheapest option is the best is when you're buying alcohol.
Yep. Or ammo that's not match grade.
Yes. Or non-match
ammo.
Or ammo. But when it comes to stocks and real estate, the cheapest options are often not the best. Because
be smart investor. Don't throw away money, but don't buy the cheapest thing, because a lot of times the cheapest option isn't going to be the cheapest option in the long term. It's sometimes going to be the most expensive. Because 2 things for $300 is going to cost you more money than 1 thing for $500.
Yeah.
The $500 thing's going to maybe last you 20 years.
Yeah.
And don't cheap out on insurance. Make sure you're covered.
Yes. And the reason why I bring up the roof is because theoretically, because in New Jersey to get a new roof, it's 30 grand. Like whatever you want to do, it's 30 grand. And that's where I come from of like, that's $1,000. If you're going to use this real estate as a retirement vessel, that means you have to save a minimum of $1,000 a year from cash flow of that property. And most people, but not
if you're doing the numbers right, if you're following that 1% rule like we talked about yesterday, you're buying cheap, refinance. You're staying between that $700 and $500 area. Hopefully, above that 700 is kind of, I think, where you should kind of land. Saving those $200 for that rainy day, you're cash flowing that $500. You have 20 properties that's doing that. That's $400 a month that you're going in your rainy day fund.
Oh no, Nick, I completely agree with you.
Over 30 years, it's going to accumulate to a lot of money.
Yeah.
For that rainy day fund. And yeah, you're going to be spending it on different things. You have all these houses. You have 20 different houses that you need to maintain. But a lot of times, so when doing maintenance for your tenants, you can put in the contract under special provisions, or maybe some states have it just built in, that it's $100 to $200 maintenance fee that you charge them each time you have to hire someone to come out. So let's say the plumbing's bad.
Nick, deadass, you own a home. It was built in 1945. A guy moves in and you need a new water, like he needs a new dishwasher because it's an old as hell dishwasher. You didn't update it. You're going to charge that guy $200 just to send a guy out there? If he did not, I punched a hole in the wall. He got drunk, punched a hole in the wall. Yeah, you get charged the $200. But a dishwasher goes like regular maintenance, like a water heater. You're going to charge the guy $200 for that guy to come out.
If it's in the contract, you have it listed. It'd be you can put anything that for the mechanical, electrical, or plumbing, and you put that in there. If they charge you a fee,
no, Nick. Obviously,
you can go back to the tenant as well. And then it's a split cost.
100%, 1,000,000% have that clause in your contract.
That's why it's good on both sides to have a competent realtor, because it all goes back to that realtor negotiating a good deal for you. If you're on the tenant side, you don't want that shit.
No,
if you're on the landlord, you want that.
But Nick, be real with me.
Having a good, competent realtor fight for your behalf.
Say
you You have a lazy ass realtor. If you come down to Houston, you have a lazy ass realtor, and you call someone else other than me, and you're paying $200 for a plumber to come out to fix something. That's on you for not calling me. If you're a landlord, and you're having problems with your tenants calling you constantly to fix small little things, and you're paying hundreds of dollars per month on little bullshits around your house that you have to send someone out there because you live in New Jersey and your property's in Houston, that's on you for not calling me, because I would have put in the contract. Each call is going to be $100, $150. So these small little things, get those phone calls that were maybe 20 times a month, 12 times a month, 6 times a month, gets dropped down to a third, only once a year, twice a year, because they have part of it in it. So yeah, do I feel bad for people that might be having under that contract saying, yeah, you're going to be charged for this? Sure. But at the same time, it's also your due diligence to read that, get a competent negotiator, and to come to some kind of agreement.
I agree.
We live in a free world. In a free world, you have to be smart about things.
Yes, but if you bought a house and you're renting a house that was built in 1946 and the pipes go crap and it's not that guy's fault, I'm not going to give him the $200 service charge. If he punches a hole in the wall or he's a drunk bastard and he breaks the faucet, you know what I'm saying? If it's your fault, it's your fault. I will charge you if it's your fault. But I'm definitely going to have that clause in the contract. So if it's your fault, I can charge you. But if it's that's what I'm saying. We live in a free world.
Yeah, I wouldn't put
a house, you know what I'm saying? Like, fix the pipes. That's what I'm saying.
I'm also not a lawyer. I cannot say if this, then this happens. That is practicing law.
Okay.
But I can make statements.
We all can make statements.
But I can't make if or statements like that. So you just have to you have to know what you're doing. Right?
You definitely should have that clause in the contract as a landlord. I just disagree with you, Nick. If some guy's got to come out and do some nonsensical thing, I'm not going to hit someone over the head. $200, Nick. You know how expensive it is to be poor in America?
I have never done something 200. I've seen agreements for $200. It's usually $100, $150.
Still, $150 is a lot of.
Yeah, this is for the $150 I saw was for a place I was renting out for $25 a month, $2,500 a month.
Yeah.
So I mean, this isn't a place where you're paying $1,200 a month, $1,300 a month, $1,100 a month, $300 a month. These are high-end areas. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, to be told.
And most agreements that I see do not have that clause in the special provisions. Most of them.
Okay.
But when you get to the upscale ones, most definitely.
Okay, that's
most definitely.
Yeah,
or even super ghetto. If it's on both sides, you're seeing it. You're seeing a push for it. In the middle, you typically don't see it.
That's fair.
But on both sides.
Nick, do you have anything else you want to add?
Nope. This was a awfully long podcast. We got some good rants in. I hope you guys enjoyed this.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Please go visit ptapod.com. God bless and have a great rest of your day.